AskReddit by cute, baby. What's an unexpected hobby you picked up that totally changed the way you see things or live your life, and how'd you stumble into it? My daughter's boyfriend invited my son to join him in playing Dungeons and Dragons with his friends. One time they did it at our house and I was within earshot of it and it was fascinating. I remember people playing it back when I was kid, early 80s, but never had the chance. It looks like great fun and I even played with them a few times. Not exactly life-changing, but it did change my perception on what I thought it was, and glad kids are still using their imaginations for things. I actually just started my first D&D group with my BF's cousin and a group of his friends. They're all in their early mid-20s and I'm in my early 30s, so I always make sure to bring snacks. It's such good fun. Complicated to get started, but great fun if you've got a DM who's a good storyteller. During the pandemic, I was craving a good bagel and figured out a good recipe. At the end of April, I'm opening a bagel shop in a strip mall on a 10-year lease. So happy to know this. I really hope you succeed in your endeavors and continue to find your business fulfilling. Good luck. Dated a guy a few times who was into birding. Was introduced to other people also into birding, which led me to interest in other things in nature, like moths, butterflies, dragonflies, native plants and flowers, etc. Now all of this is a huge part of my life. Age, you familiar with moth memes? When my kid was 4 and frustrating, I saw a poster advertising roller derby tryouts would be that night. On a whim I decided to go. Best decision I ever made. I discovered my body's abilities, made friends, and carved out a part of my life that had nothing to do with being a mom. I played for 4 years, reffed for a while, and have been coaching junior derby for like 8 years. Hello fellow roller derby enthusiast. When my daughter was little, we lived near a horse farm, and she begged to stop every time we passed by. I let her start lessons when she was 5. I didn't know the first thing about horses and thought it was just something cute for a little kid to do. And now, 29 years later, long story short, I own 3 horses and am a certified therapeutic riding instructor running a small non-profit program for kids. TNR, trap neuter return. I've always loved animals, and when feral cats started hanging around I started feeding them, so figured I better get them fixed so I wasn't inundated with kittens. Learning about TNR has opened me up to an incredible side of animal rescue that doesn't get enough credit. Knowing that I'm saving 100s of kittens from suffering by just fixing one cat is an amazing feeling. I've developed a big network of like-minded individuals and it has helped my passion for animal rescue in general. Boxing. I'm not very good and everyone in the gym is at least 10 years younger than me and in much better shape. But it has improved my health immensely. I'm not doing it to be some badass 50-plus-year-old, but just being able to move around for 3 minutes at a time is helpful to my sleep, flexibility, alertness and self-confidence. Same here. I think I had anger issues as a kid that could have been helped by taking it out on a heavy bag rather than furniture, walls, stuff, etc. Boxing is such a fun workout and really improves my everything really. 5.5 years ago, I tried geocaching for the first time because I was desperately trying to distract myself from a broken heart. I'd heard of it when it was really new, 2001, and thought it sounded stupid. Now I've written almost 400k words about it, been to 35 states, and every county or county equivalent in 9 of them, and become a celebrity of sorts inside the hobby. Walked into an anime room at a CFE-con in 1986. I was fascinated by it and spent the rest of the con there. Today, I have lived 15 out of the last 20 years in Japan, married a Japanese woman, speak the language, and my entire professional life has been Japan focused. Funny thing is, I couldn't care less about anime anymore. Are you now a crime reporter working for the Micho Shimbun newspaper? It started as a hobby, but now it's an integral part of my life. Running. Many years ago, I lost about 75 pounds, and then started running as a means of keeping the weight off. I now run everything from a 5k to 100-mile ultra marathons. It keeps me healthy both physically and mentally. The many friendships and sense of community I've forged through running are absolutely invaluable. It's been the best thing that has ever happened to me. That's really cool. I've been running for a little over a year, and progress is slow and tough. Is it true that just getting out there and getting consistent miles will keep paying off in the long run? My neighbor sold me a scooter. A year later I got my bike license and bought a bike. I now am loving traveling everywhere again. Hardly drive my car anymore. This one is mine too. Changed my life. As a preteen, my grandma showed me how to knit. It was okay, but it takes so long and I lost interest. Then her daughter, my aunt, showed me crocheting. And I'm stupidly good at it. I'm actually gonna start a crocheting YouTube channel with tutorials galore for the kids in the complex I babysit in. I taught one of the kids in the unit I babysit for, and all her little friends are interested. Just need a new computer and I can get started. Reading. Didn't stumble into it, just wanted to gain knowledge and better myself. The art of indoor gardening. Pooping regularly every morning at 7:38. Not sure how I stumbled into it. Like legit the same time every morning. I picked up time traveling through history books. It's cheaper than a DeLorean and makes traffic jams fascinating history lessons. Roads? Where you're going, you don't need roads. Rock climbing. Family started doing as a winter activity since there was an indoor gym nearby. Now we plan vacation destinations around the best outdoor climbing areas. Climbing for me as well. Lost 35 pounds. Met a bunch of cool people. We're doing our first outdoor climb very soon, and can't wait. I was suicidal and I was feeling that everything around me was going downhill. I am not religious, so I didn't have a god to go to. So I unknowingly went to the most constant things in our lives, stars. It gave me a semblance of stability. I slowly started watching space content and astrophotography. Eventually I started doing it myself. It put a lot of things in perspective. I literally cried over the fact that humanity has wasted so much time and resources over stupid things like war, and if we had not, we would have been so much ahead than today. Life is so fragile. We are extremely lucky to be alive. We are at the right planet, orbiting a right star which is moving around the galaxy in a very habitable zone. We so far don't know if aliens exist, so we are the only life that has ever been in the universe. I sure as hell not going to end it for petty reasons. Love this and glad to have you with us. After a rough relationship, as I was walking down the street I walked past by a huge pet shop and I entered the pet shop just to see the cute animals, birds, reptiles etc. to try to distract myself. I stopped in front of the aquariums and I saw all the colorful and the most beautiful fishes that I've ever seen in my life. I had little money at that time, but I had in my savings account money from my university scholarship. I initially saved it for emergencies, etc. I couldn't stop myself and I bought 2 60-liter aquariums, and all the necessary equipment, and many fishes, 25. Now, it's been like almost 2 years, and my mental state got a lot better and I also love this hobby to death. So actually a bad day led me to unknown passion that I love. I got a betta fish after my first breakup. Not as cool as your situation though. Hey uncle. You've been biking longer than I have been alive. What is a good bike to travel around town with? Like to the grocery store and back? I have a bike I could sell you cheap. 1 year later. Hey uncle. What do you think of this 600-mile backpacking trip I'm planning? As a kid I saw Tonya Harding and loved her. We had the same sort of upbringing. Hunting, fishing, physical abuse. So I became a figure skater. The best part was becoming friends with her as an adult. She's such a kind person, talks about anything. I've always considered the sport a hobby, even though I went professional. But Tonya was my main inspiration. Running. Lockdown happened. I was bored out of my gourd. I needed to get out of the house or I was gonna murder someone. So I started running. Genealogy. We were in the process of planning to have a baby and had our genetic testing done. It came back that I was a carrier for some things, so I decided to trace my genealogy back to see if I could find other instances of it in my history, and I did. While doing it, I learned that a lot of history is not always reliable. Not everyone was literate in the 1800s or even early 1900s, so records are often based on memory or word of mouth. Most people born before birth certificates don't know their exact birthday. Only what was written in the family Bible if they had one. It really changed my view of history as we know it. I've been wanting to get into genealogy. My family has roots in Scottish nobility, we have a tartan, so I was curious about that and the other sides of the family. Did you just sign up with one of the genealogy websites and do your research there? Pole dancing. A friend who did it invited me to a taster session to give it a shot and it was really fun lol. I'm over a year in now and have done multiple performances with my uni society and I'm much healthier both mentally and physically because of it. I was never able to maintain an exercise routine, but now I really want to because you need to be strong AF for some of those moves and I'm slowly starting to love my body. I started watercolors during the pandemic and it's changed the way I look at colors.